Yo,
Yo,
you on?
all right.
Hell
But
yeah, hell yeah.
I can't see you. God dang it. Well,
Haha.
hey,
Hey,
we're gonna have to make it work, right?
I like it, man. I'm good with this. How's
All
it
right, cool.
going?
How you doing?
Now I want to make sure it's getting out to your followers and stuff. Is it
Yeah,
good when it go live?
I'm gonna have to send it out to everybody right here. Dun, dun, dun.
Hell yeah, man.
How you doing over there?
I'm good. I'm cleaning my dab tool. I'm about ready to light a dab up. So,
All right. Fucking dab time.
damn
Bam, 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 bam.
straight.
I wonder why it's treating me like this, man. I wonder. That's weird because like it does it to some people,
I think it's the
like toasting
hashtags. If
the
I'm being honest with you, I think it's the hashtags. You got to stop
the
hashtags.
hashtag. Uh,
Yeah,
Okay.
hashtags get fucking blocked right away. I stopped hashtagging a while ago.
Really?
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, because you know what? It has to be like because I think it's because like it reaches more people and they don't
Yeah,
want that.
exactly. Because that's the algorithm can track it. That's how it tracks you by those hashtags.
Yeah, fucking A, man. Damn
They're
it.
getting
So I
smart.
guess, yeah, it is. I guess we won't hashtag anymore.
Got to come up with something new.
Yeah, yeah. Well, shit, man. They're getting, and you know, it's so stupid because this is like it's a, how do you say? It's a waste of
Yeah,
time because all this shit is gonna be fucking legal here in a minute, anyways.
it's just it's just somebody trying to get their 2 seconds. Their 2 seconds of I get to be a big bully.
Yeah,
So
they get a
it's all right.
bullying on this. I'm,
Some
I'm
people
sorry, I'm still sending this
like
off.
it.
Yeah,
Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping through.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And
What up,
share also.
everybody? Hey, if you guys don't know, it wasn't letting me go live on my page, so we decided to go live on Emily's page right here, and it's working a little bit. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tapping in. This is gonna be the next episode of CannaConvos. We got Emily Anything Grows right here. She is a badass grower. Been doing her thing for a minute on here. She's one of the first ones that I started following actually when I started on here on Instagram.
We must have started at the same time because you were one of the first ones I started following, and I can say
Yep.
the same back at you,
Yeah.
man.
So, and that's what it's been a couple years. I
Almost
think
three, I think, like 3 years now. How
three.
fucking crazy!
Jesus, that's crazy how time flies by, huh? When you're having fun, right?
Think about where we started though, and where we are though.
I
Crazy.
Could you imagine? Yeah, that's the thing is like, because I was so fresh, new in the. What's up, connoisseur man? We were fresh, new in this game. We didn't know anything, but what I did know is that, like, our personalities are gonna be shining on here,
Uh
right?
huh. 100%. 100%. Right away, it was just okay. That's somebody I can go to. If I fuck up, I know I can go to him. He ain't gonna judge me.
Facts in the same way, same thing too. Because in this community, we don't want to get judged, and we don't want to feel stupid for making up green zone. What up? What up? What up? We don't want to feel stupid for making fucking mistakes when everybody does it. Everybody makes the fucking mistakes, man.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, yeah, I already gave you your introduction, but this is Emily Anything Grows. Make sure to go give her a like, a follow, all that, man. She's been killing it out there. You're on YouTube. You've been doing a lot of shows on there lately, right?
I have a few shows that I do on YouTube, one pretty regularly. So on Instagram, I am private. If you're a fellow grower, you want to give me a follow, just go ahead and send me a DM too. Just let me know you're a fellow grower if you're private, because I don't let people follow me just willy nilly anymore.
Yeah.
But you got to be safe out here, So just send me a message. I'll hook up with you, link up. I'd love to give tips and shit. So but on YouTube, there's a Wednesday show, 9 o'clock Eastern on Wednesdays on YouTube at the Let's Be Buds. That one is a show that I've been a panelist on for close to almost 2 years now, I think. It's got to be a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And in that one, I really kind of found my way talking about the Last Prisoner Project, which is about it's an organization, a nonprofit that's about helping to get those that have been unjustly incarcerated for nonviolent cannabis crimes out. Because we still have over 40,000 that are behind bars, just for possessing, for growing, this plant that we get to love every single day. And that's not fucking right in my book. I've never personally been, a victim to that time of when cannabis was completely frowned upon. I am super privileged. When I started smoking, it was 3 years ago, you know, so it was already legal. I had a medical card and everything the first time I ever bought anything. Um, and I've never had to experience kind of that much of a distaste for it. Obviously, I'll get the look here and there when I'm in the grocery store and I smell awesome. And I
Yeah.
know they're just upstairs of jealousy, okay? I feel it. I understand. When you smell as good as I do walking around, you're going to want, you know, your nose is going to turn up at it.
Yeah, and
So,
it's just jealous because most people aren't able to smoke, man. And and it's because of such like main things as their job, you know, because people
yeah.
just don't want to lose their jobs,
Mm,
especially after working a place for so long. You build a career, and one little thing like smoking fucking weed is gonna ruin your job. Like
exactly.
it's gonna change. I
Yeah.
know change is coming. I'm
Daylight
sorry.
savings. Daylight savings happened last night, this morning, and the it causes like a 24% increase the next day in hospitals for heart attacks.
Really?
Just time change alone that we decided we wanted to follow. We're like, oh, you know what? Let's make up for it. Let's put this into effect because we can. It's not even fucking real, and yet
Yeah.
people will lose their lives over it, and people want to throw a fit over cannabis. We have
Right.
a lot bigger here, you
Wish
guys.
the cannabis would help with all those fucking heart attacks if they could get blowed. Then
100%. You fucking wake up, you realize, oh shit, I'm like 45 minutes late for work because of daylight saving. Got time to hit the bong now.
fuck,
Who cares about
could take a hit and be
cannabis?
like, all right, I'll get there when I get there.
I love it.
Yeah,
The slow
man. That
joint.
Last Prisoner project is something that I want to be following too. I kind of want to get into it too because I've been locked up for weed. When I was in, because for like when I was coming up, it was still illegal. It was madly illegal. If you grew weed, they would break down your fucking door, take away your kids. Um, just go completely overboard, seize all your fucking things. If you had 7 plants, you know, they would consider that a big grow and shit. And so they would go hardcore back in those days. Um, and for me, I got arrested and I got in the system when I was 13 years old. It was the first time that I got locked up, right? And I just kept getting locked up because I kept smoking weed. I wouldn't give up the fucking cannabis. I wouldn't do it. I told them, nah, I don't care. Lock me up every time for probation violations because I pee dirty every time. And it'd always be for weed. And my probation officers would be like, well, can't you just quit smoking? Can't you? No, no, you don't want me to quit smoking, guys. I'd be fucking crazy. Like if I quit smoking weed, y'all motherfuckers would be having me in here way more for than just weed. Like
I
I'd
think
be assaulting.
we've got such in common though is just the fact that we kind of know that we kind of feel that. I didn't experience cannabis until I was in my mid 20s for the first
Yeah,
time. I was 24, I think, the first time I smoked weed. And it was like, well, that first time was scary, and the second time was a little bit less scary, but still scary.
yeah,
But that third time, man, fucking life changing. I didn't give up. And
good.
it was something that I've never felt before. I mean, I use cannabis. I'm very vocal about it. I use it to assist with my mental health diagnoses. I have schizophrenia, and cannabis is something that most people will say, don't fucking touch it.
Yeah,
Don't touch it. It's going to put you into a psychosis. Cannabis causes schizophrenia. Go fuck yourself, y'all. Like, that is a genetic predisposition. I got fucked in the wheelhouse somewhere. Cannabis is helpful.
yeah,
And like, I finally have gotten up to a place where I don't have a problem telling my team, hey, look, I am going to use cannabis. That is a part of my medicinal regimen. And if you are not going to approve of that, I'm not asking you to sign me a card. I'm just letting you know this is what I'm going to continue using. I'm still coming to you as a professional. I'm honest with my therapist. I'm honest with my psychiatrist. I'm
yeah,
honest with all of my medical doctors because I've got a lot of medical shit that we're trying to figure out, like physically. And I'm honest with each of them. And each time I get told, like, I've been laughed out I had to have my gallbladder taken out in November. And
uh,
before that, probably about 6 months of in and out of the hospital 3-4 times a month because they didn't know what the fucking issue was. Finally figured out it was my gallbladder, but I had to go through so many times where I'm in the emergency room throwing up, unable to stop, in just so much pain and so much panic. And the doctor laughs at me and says, "Oh, you're the doctor now. You get to decide," because he wanted to tell me I had cannabis hypermesis syndrome,
Oh yeah.
CHS. Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, nope, I did testing for it. I went 2 months without. I pass out if I take a hot shower, which is typically one of the saviors is if you have CHS, you get into a hot shower, it helps to regulate your temperature and get you back to a stable space. I'll pass
Mhm.
out in a hot shower. So a lot of things just didn't line up. I still went without for almost 2 months straight. Went on a tolerance break for it, and still was throwing up multiple times, a week. Um, so I've done that part of it, and the doctors will still tell me, oh, then you're the doctor. You can just decide what's wrong with you. Go home then and treat yourself. They'll laugh at
Yeah.
you, they'll belittle you, they'll kick you out because
Yeah.
you want to bring up cannabis. And all I'm saying is, look, this is giving me a fucking bit of reprieve right now, and it's going to stay in my repertoire because that's the only thing getting me through these nights right now. And
Yeah. And they're
honestly,
not in your head.
are,
They're not in your head. They don't know how you feel, and they don't know for sure that that's what the fuck it is, And it's like,
I feel like to be
especially with these
like
doctors,
that,
they feel
though.
like you need to listen to them, otherwise you shouldn't even be there, right?
Exactly. You try to put your foot down about one thing. You try to question one thing, regardless of cannabis. And that doctor is going to say, why the fuck are you questioning me? Are you the doctor? Get out of here. Give them cannabis to roll with? Oh, fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing I noticed that like
a life
the
change.
government, I'm sorry,
No,
the
no.
government will sit there and give the people, the research people for cannabis, they'll give them as much money as they want if they want to study the negative effects of cannabis. But if you want to study the positive effects, they will not give them any funding for
No.
that at all.
I was able to, in 2022, I got into 3 separate clinical trials, all for, one was cannabis and
Mhm.
depression. One was for psilocybin and anxiety, and then one of them was for ketamine, and then depression, anxiety, PTSD, all of that. I was turned down for each of those. The first 2, I was turned down every time that they heard that I had any type of psychosis. If they hear that you have schizophrenia or bipolar, because you can have psychotic features if you're bipolar, and I have
Mhm.
schizoaffective bipolar, so I have both. Um, so if they hear you say that, you're automatically taken out. Everything else was great. I was a strong candidate for all of it. And then I got canceled at the last second because they heard that I had psychosis, even though I've been stable for a couple of years for the most part. And I've been able to tell them, hey, look, I have not been on an antipsychotic medication in a while. I've been using cannabis. I, see my team regularly. Hey, it's Spartan. Get back to your show, boy. Um, so it's just nobody is willing to just listen to somebody who's actually using it in a medicinal way. They just want to hear, oh, you're a stoner, you're just escaping, and it's not. It's I'm functioning.
Yeah, 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 and being able to function at all is a blessing, right? I mean, if because at some point you just don't feel like you want to do it. My daughter, she's dealing with depression really, really bad, and I sat there and I had to just tell her like, finally, I need to get you some edibles, man. I need to get you some edibles. You're almost 18, so now it's time to get on some edibles. And I gave her some edibles, and she came in just looking so much nicer, just happier, just like fuck it, because weed does that. It gives you that fuck it, just
Mhm.
you
It,
know
it
what?
it lets you take everything that is sitting on your shoulders, and it lets you walk with it. It doesn't weigh you down finally anymore. It just lets you walk with it. You
Yes,
still have to
man.
handle it. You still have to get through your shit, but it doesn't let you lose it.
And that's one thing that I love cannabis over alcohol, man. Alcohol like keeps you deep down into the fucking hole, right? But cannabis will let you walk your life with all your shit, because it's still
Yeah.
there.
I don't drink at all. I don't drink whatsoever. I'll buy
Yeah, I
alcohol
mean,
if I'm trying to make RSO or sugar, some infused sugar, shit like that. But yeah, I that mindset you would get into is just incredible. I remember when I was drinking and I was having some bad nights, and it wouldn't matter. I could be another shot, another beer, another anything, and it's never enough. You never get to that point where it feels safe and it feels like, what, life is not so bad. It always feels worse. You still
yes, it does.
point,
My friend,
but
actually, just
it doesn't
a
matter.
couple of days.
And it's just it gives you it lifts you up in a way that just is like you can get as stoned as you need to, but it still lifts you up.
Yeah. And what they say, I always say that it's happy, hungry, sleepy, man. Shit. There you go. Fucking
Fix.
helps you.
There's something
Like,
like if you're mad at the world, go take a nap. If you think the world's mad at you, go grab a snack. There's a thing like that.
yeah, that's a good one. Tank House, everybody, Doobie House, everybody in there. Alicia, what's up?
Hey,
Blue, how you doing?
good to see
Thanks for
you,
tapping in, guys. I'm sorry?
Rick. Oh, I'm just saying hi to some people. I'm recognizing some names in chat too, man.
Let's be buds. What's up? That's one question that I had for you too. How did you guys link up, the Let's Be Buds guys?
Yeah, are you able to hear me okay? I've got the torch going right now.
Yes, I can
You can
hear
hear
you.
me? Okay.
Yeah.
So Let's Be Buds. He actually is that's Uncle Rick. He's the host of Let's Be Buds over on YouTube. And he started 3 years ago now. This will be year 3. He started the Last Prisoner Project Chatathon. It's a 12-hour chatathon that he hosts on YouTube. He gets a bunch of other CannaConversations going, all about other people in the scene, other cultivators, growers, other podcasters that we have. He gets people from the Last Prisoner Project, Andrew D'Angelo, Stephanie Shepard. Last year, we even had on a constituent, somebody who had been released, which I think is just incredible. I believe his name was Jeremy Grove, if I'm not mistaken. So Rick started that. The first year was incredible. It was just, to be a part of that, to be in chat was just an honor, to
Good.
participate. And
How long was he in for, if you don't mind me asking?
The constituent who had been released that we had on, I'm going to say sorry right now, man. Honestly, I haven't spoken to him since then to really get his story more than just that. It's
Okay.
kind of hard to link with some of the people.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't have that off the top of my head.
That's
But we did have him on. He did go over a bit of his story during that segment for the Last Prisoner Project Chatathon. So definitely would say check it out. Now, the second year that he did it, he was setting up, like, just in one of his regular Wednesday shows, asking people, hey, anybody have any ideas? Like, maybe we could sell T-shirts or something. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I want to help design a T-shirt. So, hold up, Jess. Oh, fuck, I dropped the top. Cheers. I hope
No.
it's hot enough. So
Careful. For those who don't know, we wouldn't even have the show CannaConvos, the name Emily came up with. So remember that. Big ups to Emily for that one.
Yeah, man. That name was a tight one, dude. I'm going to get this heated up again. It was not hot enough, y'all. Everybody get your torches going. We need to dab up.
Dab it up, everybody. As for me, I try to stay a little bit sober. I get too stoned off this trophy wife, and then I can't think and fucking talk, right?
Ooh, I love that, man. I'm cool with that, too, though.
Try to stay a little
I was
sober.
thinking about grabbing an edible before it started,
Oh,
but I was like, no.
speaking on the edibles, your muffins were amazing.
You liked them?
Love them. Good job. Congratulations. Like, they were fucking delicious. And like, you put in there, the weaker one, middle one, and the strongest one, right? Well, I popped that strong one day, and I was like, fuck it, I'm eating the whole thing. Fuck it, I'm taking it to the dome, right? I was so fucking high. I was buzzing while I was playing Spider-Man on the PS5. Like, I was fucking Spider-Man, dude.
Sick as hell. I love
I was
it.
in there. I was fighting Venom, and I was just like fucking like, oh.
That is sick as hell, man. I'm gonna have to send you some more, dude. That's awesome.
Yes, please. I will gladly accept some more because those were fucking delicious and just like
those lower dosages. I like those ones for more daytime activities. If you got to hit the grocery store and shit.
yes, they were perfect for. I'd say the lower ones were perfect for the day off. Your day off, or you just got off of work and your feet hurt and you just want to just not think about work or whatever. Perfect for those. Absolutely perfect. And those strong ones, man, that's for the party. That's when you're with the homies and you're like, hey, homie, you want to get fucked up? And they'd be like, yeah, I want to get fucked up.
A few people hit me up and buy a dozen or 2 dozen, grab them from me, asking me, hey, can you hook my party up? Man, hell yeah, I don't got a problem with that. I mean,
Fuck yeah.
hell yeah.
So do you infuse your oil? Yes, of course you infuse your oil. What oil do you use?
Every piece that I can infuse, I'll infuse if I can.
Okay.
So my favorite thing to infuse, though, right now would have to be an oil and, well, actually, I guess 2 oils. But one of them is a real fatty oil, and the other is FICO or RSO, Rick Simpson
Oh,
oil, full extract cannabis oil.
okay.
So I love infusing like the butter with it. I think butter is just a really great carrier over other oils. You can totally mix
Idiot.
oil and stuff, but I just think that full fat butter. And I use like the expensive kind of, it's a Kelly Gold, something like that.
There we go.
I think it's Kerry Gold.
There
It
we
comes
go.
like
Okay.
a silver wrap, and it's got like a 4-leaf clover on it, I think. But it's
So
like
what I've noticed is I've noticed that butter holds a lot more THC. I feel like, Rue, what up, yo? I feel like the butter has a higher fat content, so the THC binds to it, right? Or
yeah, absolutely. And I think that the THC is needed for it to
oh,
to enter your system. I think.
yeah,
I think it just does better. I think it dissolves in the oil, in the fat, if I'm not mistaken. So if it is a full fat thing, that's going to be the best type of um, distributor for your body. So I
yeah,
love to do a butter, and I'll infuse that. Now I wash my trim after I decarb it, and that's something that I don't think a lot of people do. I learned that from Spartan Grown. Shout out, babe. But he will wash his flour. He'll decarb it, and then he'll rinse it, put it in a pot, fill it up with water, let that sit for, I think it's 12 or 24 hours, and then he drains it and then dries it. Now I did that, and I actually will do almost 2 days of washing compared to his one. And I rinsed it out in between. I'll do 2 or 3 rinse outs. So when I fill up my container, I decarb it first because THCA, undecarbed cannabis,
uh,
is a little bit water soluble. So you'll lose a little bit of those cannabinoids in the water if you do not decarb first. THC activated is not water soluble. So you definitely want to decarb first. Um, Decarb, let it cool, get it in whatever dish that you are going to be combining that butter in. So like I have like specific can of pots that I use that I don't use for like cooking dinner and stuff. Just because I've got kids, I want to make sure everything is safe. I don't know what's going, if anything is going to get transferred in the fucking Teflon, like we've got a lot of
yeah.
things to think about around here. So I've got my own can of pans that I use when I bake, when I infuse, all of that. And so I use that pot. It's a little stock pot, and I'll fill that up with the dried cannabis, and then I'll fill it up with some cold water. Put that, cheers, Mama Kush. Cheers,
Mama.
put that in the fridge. I'll actually put that in the fridge then. And 6, 8 hours later, I'll give it a good stir, drain it out. That water is nasty. Fill it up again. Yep, fill it
Well,
up
hold
again.
on. Is it like a bunch of chlorophyll in it
Oh,
that makes it nasty?
it's brown, it's green, it stinks. Yep, it is gross.
Okay.
If you've got, like more time, go ahead and do it again. I'll do 2 or 3 of those. So at least one good one, but typically 2 or 3 of those. And I'll do it over the course of about 24 to 48 hours, keeping it in the fridge. And then I lay it out and I let everything dry down to a crisp crumble. I mean, I want to grab it and go like this and have a powder. Okay. So it's dry, good. I'm talking probably a week straight, and it's on like cardboard, so it really absorbs it. Yep, in the dry room. It's got the DQ going, everything. I want that crisp. Then I take that and I break it all down. No stem, but I'll use leaf. I'll use actual nugs. I'll use keef, from the trim tray, all of that. Put that now back into the pot that I'm going to be infusing. Now in that pot though, I've got that on the stove already warming up with about 6 cups of butter. I do about 6 cups of butter at a time because mama don't play around. I need my edibles. Okay. So
Damn. Six
I
cups.
well, okay, so I used to take RSO every day, and I would take point 0.3, which is typically, I think it's about 150 milligrams every 3 hours. But because of my gallbladder and stuff, I can't take FICO anymore. I will throw up.
Really?
It hurts my stomach so badly. I can't handle that density of an oil. I can't process it anymore. But butter, I seem to be able to handle. It's one of the fats that is like considered a good fat,
Hey.
so I can handle that one a little bit better. So when I infuse the butter, I need to do quite a bit of it at a time. So I've got about 6 cups of that Kerrygold butter in there, and then I start to add in all of that crumbled up flour, all the crumbled up leaves, and all of that. And I'm going to slowly start mixing it in because I want that butter to still sit over that trim. I don't want to add water to it. I want to keep my eye on it and pay attention to what I'm doing. I have a heat thermometer in there to make sure that it's not going to over bubble or boil the bottom or anything so it doesn't burn. I've got to move it off of it, give it a few mixes, let it sit with the lid on it. I want to make sure that lid stays on it. I don't want those terps going into the air,
To
so
escape.
so I keep a lid on it as much as possible. When I take it off the heat, I'll let it cool down a bit so I can open it. All of that condensation with the terps is what I'm assuming is going to go right back in there. And then I'm just going to give it a little good mix. Put it back on there, and I'll do maybe like an hour and a half or so, maybe close to 2 hours for infusing the butter. Let it cool down, bring it out, and then it's really hard, unfortunately. I haven't found a good way to squeeze out the trim and the butter. But it's like I had carpal tunnel, like I'd have surgery on my wrist last year. So
Shit. I
have
just got that surgery done too, man. They ain't no fucking
already
joke.
done. Yeah, I hope your fucking shit works. Mine, I still can't feel this finger. My thumb still goes numb. It's fucked, man. Yeah.
Man, fuck, man. You know what? That's the shit. I was like, these motherfuckers they've been doing it to thousands of people out there, and it probably doesn't even work.
That's what I'm fucking saying. Everybody is telling me, like, oh my God, it's going to feel so much better. It's going to get so much better. When?
Win, goddamn it, because I'm not feeling it. Fuck.
You know what? I don't wake up crying. I used to wake up crying. It would be in pain all the way up. I don't wake up crying anymore. So it did something.
Yeah. I had a big ass cyst on my mind, so the cyst had to go. But I'm definitely not doing the other fucking hand. You're crazy. Fuck that.
But yeah, so I squeeze out that butter, and it's fucking hard. I've been trying to.
Or do you use cheesecloth?
Yeah. I use cheesecloth for it.
Okay.
I'm trying. I always have gloves on. I wouldn't love to have gloves on, but I do keep gloves on for it, just because it is pretty hot, and I think I could do it a little hotter if I'm wearing the gloves.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I've noticed that when you're done with the gloves, like I can just kind of take them off if I got to put them down and go do something with the kids, put them back on, okay? So I don't got to keep washing my hands, I ain't losing shit. But then at the end, you got that glove, and it's just like, damn, can't really scrape that off. Might as well. And I just lick that shit off. I am finger licking good that goddamn glove. Oh my God. It is
Taking it to the dome.
It's so damn good. Give me that butter. Give me that TNT. Give me that buzz, baby.
Did that good shit, baby. It'll get you fucked up, baby.
I just want to work on a goddamn stove, fucking squeezing this shit out. Damn straight. I'm getting that's the thing. I eat that damn bowl. No, if I can get out one more brownie, one more cookie, I don't give a shit. It's not going in there. I am eating that frosting.
Yeah, at work, we always say that that's your raise that you're getting rid of. Like, you better scrape that motherfucker all the way out, man. Shit.
I love it. Yep.
Good. Yeah. So I had a question about the KH1. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not done talking about that. So what?
Yeah, so that's the butter. That's how I infuse the butter. And then because I don't put any water into that pan, as soon as it's cooled, you can use it.
Okay.
I mean, you can use it. You don't have to. Sometimes, like the way Spartan does his is when he puts his in his stock pot, he'll do like 3 cups of butter and a cup of water just to make sure that stays above the boiling point, just to make sure all the bud stays covered. But because of the way I break mine down and stuff, I can pack in so much more into such a smaller amount of area. He leaves his pretty full bud and stuff, or full leaf or full trim or whatever it is. I like to, like I said, shred it down, really grind it down to a powder, and it just really blends in there and fits into the butter alone. So you don't have to wait until you are cooled down, because some people will then pour it into a bowl, let it cool, and then you have to take out that top layer of butter and dump out the water.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, I was about to say that.
like,
That every time I'm doing it, I have a layer of water on the bottom of my butter, and so I'll just like flip it, drain the water out, and then flip it and let it dry out on the top too
yeah,
in the refrigerator.
smart, man. That's super smart. I usually just scrape off that bottom layer and feed it to my dog and give her a nice high for the day.
Yeah, we've been doing that too. We've been dealing with fleas on our dogs, so we put the medication, but they're still like itching a little bit. So we're like, hey, let's get them some relief, and we'll give them a little bit of fucking some of the canna oil that Blue sent over, and it got them fucking feeling good. I was looking at my dog yesterday. I was like, she's all blowed.
If you're using the drops,
Yeah.
make sure to do that every month. If you're doing the drops like that, make sure not to give them a bath for at least 2 days. I used to be a dog groomer. That's actually why I had carpal tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Surgery. I can't anymore. But I worked at a vet's office, and I've competed in like HKC competitions for grooming. So that's been pretty fucking cool. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I would say I'll never do the collar, because the flea has to like actually touch the collar, and most people don't understand that.
That what?
Oil, they don't understand like the flea has to actually touch the collar, so it's not.
Oh yeah.
That well. But if you have something, you can wash them with like tea tree oil. If you find a shampoo that has that, it helps a lot with getting rid of fleas, and it helps. It's a really soothing scent.
What was that called?
Tea tree oil. You just don't want to use the essential oil on them because it's toxic, but you can use one that's infused into a shampoo for dogs.
Okay, I'm gonna get that one and hook up the dogs. I'm pretty sure they like it.
Hell yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you about the KH1.
Yeah.
What is the cross on that?
Okay, so that is called King Hakan, and that is bred. It's Subcool Genetics, and it's bred by Galactic Gardens. It is GG4. Well, Galactic Gardens worked with Subcool, so I don't know if it's necessarily his genetics. It might have some Subcool genetics. I just know that they did work together, Galactic Gardens. But it's GG4 cross to Locomotion.
I've never heard of Locomotion. What is that?
I have no idea, to be honest with you, man. I just found them in the stash and was like, let's see what these are.
Nice.
So I don't really know. I know the GG4 is good. I know it'll be a nice kind of stinky GMO. The Locomotion, I'm not too sure what it is. I started those ones for the Cocoa for Cannabis Grow Along, and it's my first time doing a forum like that. So if you go find a cocoforcannabis.com, they have a grower challenge, and this year's is you can grow whatever you want. They have obviously like their set strains, but you can grow whatever you want for it. They had it started at a certain time. I started mine a day late, but still, I still fucking joined. And basically, you just keep a journal. It's a journal about your grow online with other growers, and you can compare it to people. Like if you're growing a specific strain with somebody, then if you can list your lights in there. You can list what soil you're using. You can list if you're DWC or anything. You can list if you're using nutrients, what you're using, what the runoff is. You can be as detailed if you want, or you can just go on there and put like 4 or 5 posts up when you remember to, like me.
Okay. So so it's not like a real where you have to document everything. It's a forum. Like you can go on there and somebody wants to
kind of, it's a different way from Instagram, a little bit less taxed way than Instagram. So I started those. What was really cool is that a month in, on the first weekend of February, Dr. MJ, he's the one who runs it along with, I think Smart Poker and Crispy Wannabe. They are a real big into the Cocoa for Cannabis channel, and they talk a lot about the Grow Challenge. I'm not sure if they're necessarily like a part of it, as in like a head person, or if they're just like have been contributing for years to it. So I'm not too sure there, but they have a great show on YouTube. I believe they do one Wednesday afternoons. I know they do one Sunday called Hump Days and Confused. I believe that's the one, or some Hump Days, something like that. It's got a camel on it. It's pretty good.
Okay. So it should be easy to spot then.
Yeah, it's got a camel. It's red and yellow with a camel. Yeah, it's called Smart Poker. And they have a lot of people who do the grows and stuff on their channel and do a lot of grow me garden kind of share along things, which I think is cool. So on
Right.
the a month in, their challenge was the cloning challenge, and they had like the biggest clone, the biggest roots on a clone, the quickest rooting clone, and also like the smallest clone. And so I tried to go for the smallest clone. Um, so this I took a clone and I got all three of mine to root, and it was literally like my lighter was bigger than my clone.
Re-
In
Really?
really counting the roots, not counting the rooted root riot cube, because that's how
Yeah.
I these root riot cubes. That stuck out a little bit just so you could see the tap root coming out of it. But like the clone itself was literally like this tall sticking out of the root riot. So it's kind of adorable. But I got roots out of it. The roots took and everything. So I've got clones, which is pretty cool.
Sick. So, question on that. One of my followers, Blue, she was asking me because I was taking the trim. I was trimming down my plant, right, or defoliating it, and I had one of those little sizes of the stem, and she was asking if I could clone that little thing, and
Yeah,
you could, right? I mean, you did.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Bitchy.
absolutely. So you just want to make sure that there is a node, because like if you look on the cannabis plant, I've seen some where it's above soil and that stalk, you can see like those little aerial nodes coming out, those aerial roots starting, where it's like it's thinking it wants to root at the side of the stalk and there's no node there at all. So if you have a good environment for it, I would definitely say that you could get a teeny clone to root. And it really depends on
Nice.
how you're rooting as well, though. I feel like if you were to root in like one of those cloners, like that has the water in it and the collars and the air bubbler thing, you could get a
Yeah.
teeny clone to root easily. Okay. If you're trying to stick that straight into soil or something, I don't think that's going to go very easy because it doesn't have a lot to work with, a lot of strength in it already.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of luck doing them in those root riot cubes, and I just got like I think it was 100 count bag off of Amazon. It wasn't even the actual like Root Riot brand. But it was probably like $30 for the bag. And I mean, I'm going to use them when I start my pea plants soon because I have an outdoor garden that I can't wait to get started. That I actually just this weekend got even more seeds for. So I'm so stoked about that.
Nice. I was gonna ask you about that. You grew some corn, right?
I did.
Last year.
Hell yeah. First time ever doing corn. I decided to start it. I didn't start it at the beginning of the season because it's my first year here. So I moved to more of like central Illinois. And the yard that I have is 10 times any yard size I've ever had before. And I own the house. I fucking bought it. I own it. It's my fucking yard. Thank you, sir. Thank you. But
Congratulations.
being a homeowner, it's not easy,
Hey, no,
especially.
I'm a homeowner too, and I know I've ever since I became a homeowner, everything has changed. Like I'm so into the
Oh,
handyman fucking
tell
thing
you,
where I've
one
just done
winter.
everything myself. I fucking installed dishwashers, garages, outlets, everything. I fucking like it's changed my life. So I know it's changed yours too.
Absolutely. I mean, just this one winter, I learned what it meant to actually drip your pipe. Because
Oh,
guess what? Fucking pipes froze.
ah, ah,
Yeah, man.
no.
Oh man, I grew up fast.
Ah. Dang it, I feel for
It's
you. I'm so sorry that happened.
all
Well, the only reason why I say I haven't experienced that is because I grew up in a Mexican family. My mom has always, we lived in a trailer and shit. So she's always had us running the water during freezing time, you know?
No, so as a kid, we had to do that, and I remember that. But as my own like out and about my own place, I've always rented somewhere that was like I'm gonna afford, somewhere a little nicer than what I grew up in. And then I move out
Yeah.
into the country, and it's like that's a whole new zone, a country cold. Oh my God. We
Well,
we had the school closed because of the wind. Not even because it was snowing or anything, not because it was rain or ice or anything. The wind was
yeah.
hard. They're like, you know what? We're gonna count this as a snow day. That wind is gonna cut somebody's face open.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no fucking
I had
joke,
to
right?
experience for the first time pollen to the point where I couldn't stand up straight because it got into my ear canals and messed with my equilibrium.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
there's, whoo, man, the fields out here. Yeah, it was harvest season. And so all of that like dust and stuff from the crops, it messed me up for a week straight until I could get it right. Whole new
Jesus, man.
toy.
I feel you, man. We got that same thing over here in Tri Cities, man. We got massive wind, crazy ass winters. Just it's like on the other side of Washington, so it's not Seattle. We don't get
Yeah,
like
I was in
mild.
Seattle.
Yeah, no, we don't get mild weather and shit over here. We get the fucking desert. Fuck cold.
Midwest was real quick.
Right there, real quick, man. I know that shit. I feel you.
Yeah, so I last year I decided to get a few beds into the ground. I worked pretty hard at it. I got to use like a tiller for the first time, like an actual motorized tiller, and that was awesome, super cool. But it really helped me get some beds. I had two 5 by 12 beds. I want to say they were like 4.5, maybe 5 feet by 12 feet long, and I
Yeah,
had
that's
two of.
cool.
Well, that's all I had to work with, because I didn't want to do my whole yard. I didn't have many seeds. So I just wanted two beds that I could really put some work into. So I separated them out. I ended up having
Yeah, because
real success.
if you did more, you would have to irrigate
Oh,
all that too, right? And so,
and I just didn't have the time, the energy. I was trying to renovate. I had to build some rooms and stuff for my boys. Um, so it was a lot this last year. It's been a lot of putting together the house and kind of still keeping myself, my own things in it too, like
yeah,
not just in myself in the renovation. And the garden is kind of really, really what I focused on for it. So I got the two beds and I really had success with tomatoes. My biggest tomato ended up being about a hunk or about 3 pounds. It was really nice. Yeah, it
Jesus.
got worms in it, so I couldn't eat it, but I found it. That's what counts. I
Hey,
fucking
hey,
grew it.
hey, fuck
Somebody
that.
enjoyed it.
It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. A win's a win. Shit.
So I got some great tomatoes, cucumbers. I grew my first bean last year. It was a black bean, and I let the plant just completely dry out. I had great success with peppers. Fire these fire red ones, jalapenos, of course, and just regular bell peppers. Finally had good
Okay.
success with that. I did strawberries for the first time, and I actually
Ooh.
wintered one of my strawberry plants, and it kept alive. So I just have to wait till the beginning of April, like mid-April, and I should be able to plant her outside. What else did I
Well,
do? I
I wanted to tell you about the corn. The reason why I brought up the corn is because I tried corn
yeah.
a couple years ago too, right? But I tried it in a pot, in a 30-gallon pot, right? Thinking that it would work. But I guess it doesn't because the corn's roots go like a couple feet into the ground. Did you know
Really?
that?
I did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I guess it goes really deep into the ground and it does not get the nutrients that it needs out of the ground. Probably the silica or something like that. I can't remember
Well,
what it needs out of the ground.
corn. Okay, so I started corn. I decided I was like halfway through the season. It was like beginning of August or something, or July maybe. And I counted the days until when our expected first frost was, and I was just a few days shy. So I was like, fuck it, I'll try the corn. Give it enough time. Why not? So I planted 6 things of corn, and I ended up harvesting probably about 3 ears of corn, which is pretty cool. They weren't that big, they weren't fully developed, but I did something with it.
Shit.
Um, I ended up cutting them down though, so I didn't pull them out. So I'm not sure about the roots for that one, but that makes complete sense because corn is part of the Three Sisters type planting, which is you use the corn or a sunflower as like the stalk, okay, and then you do beans or peas because they'll grow up the stalk as the trellis.
Okay.
That'll put the nitrogen back into the soil, which will help to feed the corn to make it grow stronger. And also then you do one more of, I want to say it's like a squash, because that will be cover crop so that it will shade the bean. So it like is a three-way system.
Symbiotic
Yep,
system, right?
exactly. Yep.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna try this year, and you already know it's about time for us to get started with our outdoor growth,
Hell
right?
yes. Hell yes. What are
Because
you
it is
looking for?
coming and it is coming quick. Are you going to be doing an outdoor grow
Oh,
with cannabis?
no, not in Illinois. In Illinois, you can do an indoor grow with a med card.
Oh, it has to be
Yeah,
Medcard. Yeah, we're not
so
supposed to be doing it over here either. And like they said that it's not supposed to be visible from the street.
yeah.
And I just so happen to live right on the street, and a bus stop is right in front of me too. So I don't know if I'm going to do it this year. But everybody keeps telling me to do it.
Well, you got to think though, like maybe you can put up some bamboo shoots or something to kind of
Yeah,
block it off a bit, just that area. Uh,
yeah.
I know in Michigan, um, you're not supposed to be able to see. You're not supposed to be able to see the grow from any point of your house or from any point of a neighboring house or something. And it's like stupid because you can be in your neighbor's yard, like on their back porch or on their fucking patio, 2 stories up, looking in your neighbor's yard. Obviously, you can see that shit. So I don't really know. Tomorrow, actually, this is something really exciting. So along with the Last Prisoner Project stuff, I've been trying to get more into um, advocating for the way that I use cannabis, as a medicinal plant kind of a deal. I believe that caregivers, Illinois should have caregiver rights and everything. Um, I don't think anybody should get in trouble for growing a plant, growing medicine. I don't get in trouble for growing my tomatoes. I don't get in trouble for growing, potatoes or anything.
Once again, I always got to go back. You could fucking grow your own fucking hops all you want, and you
Yeah,
can fucking ferment alcohol
exactly.
all you want.
Own tobacco.
Tobacco, you can grow it in your fucking backyard. Opiates, you could probably grab some opiate fucking poppy seeds and pop them bitches, and they wouldn't say
Exactly.
shit.
It's not opium until you harvest and try to do something with the fucking seeds other than grow the plant.
Once
Like it's
you process
the
it,
plant.
yeah,
It's the way you
yeah.
process it. But that's like I don't know where I was going with that.
I
Oh,
don't
I know where I was going with that. So
even.
tomorrow in Illinois, there's actually going to be a Zoom meeting under Congress. I'm not too sure exactly what it is about. It does ask for some normals to, kind of talk if possible. They're limiting speeches to like 3 minutes if you want to share and speak to them. But I think it does have to do with like caregiver and or medicinal rights and stuff. So I'm going to be checking that out specifically in Illinois tomorrow for that. But I'm going to be checking it out and trying to get some more information on it because I have yet to reach out to a lawmaker. Although, I mean, I've stood on the Capitol steps in Michigan and I have protested at the rally against the MCMA, which was something that was trying to take away caregiver rights and go corporate cannabis um, for them. And I mean, I've been a part of this now for three years. And Illinois, I just feel like, I'm here. I should be doing something more for it. I want to fight for some more freedom for us. And I hope that these are the things that we're going to be able to see and do. And I hope I can be a part of that because there's this cool podcast called the Cole Memo, or he used to be known as the Chillinois podcast. But he's an
Like
Illinois,
that.
right? He's an Illinois dude, and I've been checking out his podcast recently. He's real heavy into like the law side of things um, when it comes to Illinois stuff with cannabis. And we actually have a congresswoman who is like gung ho for cannabis rights. Like she wants people to home grow, and she
Yeah.
has nobody against her currently in our state, in our Senate or whatever in Illinois. She has nobody opposing her, and so she's about to get another term. And I want to meet this woman.
Yeah.
How do I connect with these people? So I'm really excited to be, kind of going down these avenues and finding a way to help out. Whether it be Last Prisoner Project people, whether it be just Illinois people. I'm really interested in figuring out ways that I can help to get the message out there. Or to
Yeah, we need more people like you, man, for the reals, because people like you who are going to go out there and talk to these senators, talk to these people, because we have to start with our local legislation. What's the word? You know what I'm talking about? You got to go through the states, man. We got to, or through the
we
courts
do
and all
it
that shit. We got to.
we have to do it one at a time, and it takes really just a few people to really start a motion about something, I think. And
Yeah,
I've seen a few more Illinois people. I mean, I've been seeing the waves that Michigan has accomplished. I've been seeing the things that they've been able to do when they team up. The Michigan Weed Surge is like an incredible force. And they're owned by, or I don't know if they're owned or founded or whatever, by two of the strongest cannabis women, though, that I know of. Latricia and Amy, Latricia Madison, I believe, and Amy Carter. And like Amy is trying to pass bills in Michigan to assist children who use cannabis. Right now, it's
That's
called
what I'm talking about, dude.
her
That
own child, okay?
that
Her
right
own
there
child's name.
is a trigger for me. Like that shit gets me so fucking angry that there are kids that can help from this medicine, be helped from this medicine, but because of some fucking asshole or some people out there that are just still brainwashed that this medicine is bad, these kids have to suffer, or these families have to move into places where they could get the medicine for their kids, and that is unbelievably unacceptable. I think it's unacceptable.
Yeah,
I'm
Amy's
sorry?
son Jaden has a medical card, and he is able to consume cannabis legally, even though he's under 18. And he's been doing it for many years. And RSO is something that has like helped him a bunch, I believe. It's something that helped, because I believe he is autistic, if I'm not mistaken. And she's had to deal with some quite severe episodes, you know, some violent episodes that she's shared about. And she was able to introduce cannabis to him. It has been life-changing. Jaden himself now stands on the Capitol steps and advocates for his own rights, even though I believe he's 16. But he can stand on those steps and advocate for his own rights, because now he can go to school in a safe manner, you know, and he feels safe. He feels more in control. But his mom has to go pick him up from school and drive off of the property 1,000 feet, give him cannabis, and then bring him back to school as many times a day as he needs it. If it's once, if it's three, she has to be available like that to do it. Not appropriate. Thank you,
Which
Mom.
doesn't leave her any room for work, because of course work isn't going to do that. Like, that's incredible. That's incredibly just, it's irritating, but that's why we need to keep this going, guys. We need to keep it going, and we need to get this awareness out there, and we need to start changing the mind of everybody, because if everybody, not everybody, but like at least most of the people are cannabis friendly, at least just like able to get it, that it's a medicine and that some people need it, where it's not like these people are going to be out there getting other people fucking high off of fucking their medicine, dude.
No.
Like,
and that's the whole thing. It's like, if you meet somebody who's compassionate about what they do, if you meet a caregiver, somebody who is trying to help, they themselves, I guarantee you, have experienced that benefit. They know what the fuck they're talking about. I would never ever told anybody, oh my God, just smoke a joint, chill the fuck out, had I never smoked a joint and chilled the fuck out. Okay. I thought of cannabis as a drug, and I was against it for majority of my life until I was 24, 25 when I first smoked it. And like I said, I had a medical card. I made sure I was legal when I did it, because I was afraid of it. And yet now it's like, why have we, like, if I would have experienced that when I was 8, instead of getting shoved lithium down my goddamn throat, maybe my head would be a little bit better off today. You know?
well, I'm sorry that you went through that. Truly am. But I'm glad that you came out on the other side. You know, you're here with us, and you got the medicine that you need. And let's just try to make it to where if anybody else is dealing with this, that they know that they don't have to be putting up with the shit, that it's not that fucking bad. Like, I don't even know what they told you to make you feel like that, but like, my kids know, they've always known that it's God's medicine, man. God put this on earth.
You want to know what it was? My stepdad was a fucking drunk and a stoner. He would take his paycheck. He would come home with Sailor Jerry. He would come home with Jaeger or Crown Royal. And those were the choices. And he'd sit in the back stairwell, and he'd have his little dime bag, and he would smoke up, and he'd either come in really happy or he'd come in really mean. You never knew. And so I always thought weed was the fucking worst. How dare you take from your family?
When it was
now that I'm
the alcohol.
Bro, I know. But I've smoked a cigarette with the man, but he passed away about 5-6 years ago now. So, and I never got to smoke a joint with him, because I still wasn't smoking cannabis at the time when he passed. It was like a year later I finally tried it, and I sat down, and I've had many nights now where it's like I would give anything to smoke a joint with my old man and just say, bro, I get it. I know why you were hiding. I understand, and I'm sorry, you know?
Yeah. And that takes a lot of you to be able to do that. You know, to be able to look back in your past and the things that did traumatize you and, you know, led you into a different way. But finally, you're able to come back at it and look at it and analyze it and be like, okay, now I'm an adult. Now I see
did or what he did not do as a father, but I can look at him as a person and say, I understand what you were trying to do. You were trying to not hurt, and I can respect that. I'm sorry it didn't work.
Yeah. And I just really against alcohol
Yeah.
because I dealt with alcohol for 16 years. I drank alcohol for 16 fucking years, and it was just since I was what, since I was 13, I'd been smoking weed, but then I decided about 18 or well 17, 18. I decided I don't want to smoke weed as much. I wanted to drink because it
Mm-hmm.
made me more, uh, alive and shit like that. Well, it turns out I had that personality there the whole time. I just didn't fucking know it.
Yeah.
And right, and I did that same thing. I went down that same fucking road as your stepdad. I was mean to my kids. You couldn't tell if I was gonna come in angry or chill. I wasted all the time drinking. Just I swelled up 400 pounds. My heart almost gave out on me. And it was just like, I would have died. If I would have died right then, it would have been one of those stories where the asshole died and everybody knew, like, okay, why he died because he was a fucking asshole and he wouldn't quit drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the end of my story. But I'm so glad that it was not the end of my story, that I got the chance to come back and be like, yo, like, now I'm trying to spread the word, man.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking alcohol's not the way,
No,
man.
no. Alcohol and drugs. I mean, to be honest with you, drugs
Drugs too, yeah. Yeah.
because he overdosed, unfortunately. My dad overdosed. He never got clean from a lot of other demons that he had, and it was always because he was trying to just cover up,
Yep.
And I know people who have been down that similar road, and I am thankful that they have gotten clean because I've got more time with them. And
Yeah, and that's good.
I wish
My friend too, I'm sorry, what are you saying?
oh no, it's good. I wish they would see it,
Yeah.
when they're stuck in it. I wish they could see it.
Yeah, and it happens for some people. Some people it happens to where they finally see it. There's a lot of people that I know that were stuck in the meth game and the alcohol game and all that shit, and they finally got over the hump. And when they got over the hump, they just never looked back. Right? I have a friend right now, and he's trying his hardest to do that. And he slipped up and he relapsed, and he got a hold of me, and I went over there. And
Sober then.
I'm sorry.
Cali sober qualifies as cannabis and psychedelic, but
Yes. Yeah.
clean of everything else. How do you feel about that?
Love it. Love it. That's what I am about. I'm about that. Anything natural. Natural, like not like processed like opiates or anything like that. But just weed and mushrooms, totally cool. Even LSD, I don't really mind that either. Um, just no hard shit, man, because the fucking hard shit like meth and coke and all that shit, it turns off your inhibitions, your I think it turns off your conscience, and which your conscience is kind of like God inside of you. Because I don't believe in like the traditional mainstream religion.
Yeah,
I believe that God is written in your essence. It is inside of you. That's where God is, not where these fucking people go and these people tell you that you have to live this way and shit. No, you know if it's right or wrong inside of you.
yeah,
That is God, right? Well, the drugs turn that shit off. So when you're high off of meth, which I know because I was high off meth for almost 16 years,
man.
that shit
I'm
turns
glad.
it.
See, right here, right now, you are one of the fucking people I am so glad has gotten clean and sober and is here to have this conversation to this day. I'm thankful to
Thank you.
know you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough road, man. Actually, the hardest thing to get over wasn't the meth, it was the alcohol. The alcohol was the hardest thing to get over because it was just something that had been so normal. I woke up every day to drink a beer, just to be able to function and shit. My God, Emily, it just was so much better without the shit, dude. I'm telling you.
I
And so
see.
that's what I was trying to help my homeboy
I
because
used to
he
drink
sees me and
quite a bit, but unfortunately, because of the mental health issues that I've had, uh, Xanax was something that I don't feel safe around, and
oh
it's been years now, but I'll tell my psychiatrist, hey, I'm sorry, I do not want to be prescribed that. And I'm strong enough
yeah,
to tell him to that day because I know that it's something that I've always used as a crutch. And it's scary. I've told this to my therapist, I've told this to people I've worked with. It's like I can sit there and I remember nights where I would take Xanax, wait 5 minutes, take Xanax, wait 5 minutes. And I would do that 20 minutes later. Am I passed out? Good. That's what I wanted. It just didn't work quick enough. Now I can sit down, I can roll my ass a joint, I can smoke that joint, I can smoke 10 joints in a fucking row. Want to know how? Because I've tried. I have fucking tried. It's been 3 in the goddamn morning. My throat is screaming at me, Emily, please don't fucking toke again. And I'm getting through it, and I'm just because I need that. But guess what? 10 fucking joints, I'm going to wake up tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Not like 10 fucking pills, right?
That's all that matters.
The fucking pills.